Good afternoon, everybody. So, I know recently that Great America has closed down Raging Bull for paint and all that stuff. And while I'd like to do updates on that stuff, I think I have other people who can do that better, like Chicago Coaster Guy and all that stuff. Also, I wanted to get another update video out, so then I could just like keep up with updates, but I've been having trouble, getting all the way up there as it's hard for me to get up to the park, especially on the weekends. I'll see what I could do with that, but in the meantime, I think updates are probably going to become a little bit more slower. Also, I've noticed a lack in like content for me in the past weeks, so I decided to make it up to you guys. I'm going to do a review of California's Great America, as I've just went to California's Great America this past Saturday. Now, I'm sure that most of my fellow Great America fans, enthusiasts, already know and are familiar with California's Great America. But for those of you who are not, California's Great America was, and to some extent is, the sister park to Six Flags Great America here in Illinois. Both of them were opened by the Marriott Corporation under the Marriott's Great America name. They both were nearly identical to each other, though our park had a few more exclusive rides compared to over there. And both of them would remain under the ownership of Marriott until 1984, when our park was sold to Six Flags, while the California park went through a bunch of different ownerships until landing with Cedar Fair in 2006, and then eventually, when Cedar Fair merged with Six Flags, they both became part of the same ownership again. When I first learned about California's Great America, this was kind of a park that I really wanted to get out to. Not just because of its its connection to our park, Six Flags Great America, but also just because I wanted to try out some things that that a lot of other parks don't have anymore, like the Skyway. Spoiler alert, I did not try it. Now I know this park is on borrowed time, that it's like closing in probably a few years or something, but I don't want to put too much focus on that because I feel like that's already like something everybody knows and I'm not adding anything to it. So let's get straight into the review, starting with the roller coasters. So California's Great America only has 9 roller coasters, which is really low compared to the 16 that are at the Great America here in Illinois. And out of those 9 roller coasters, I only did 6 of them. The only ones that I skipped over were the 2 kiddie coasters and the Aero Mile Mouse Psycho Mouse. And to be fair with you guys, I don't think so I was missing too much. Like I've said before, I'm not a coaster enthusiast or someone who counts like how many coasters I've been on or whatever, so skipping out on those was just the right choice for me. Now let's get into the stuff that I did ride, starting off with Goat Striker. This is probably the standout coaster in the park, and it was really fun. It reminded me a lot of Ghost Rider when I did it in Knott's Berry Farm, which I think both were done by GCI if I'm correct. But it was really fun. It was very fast, it was intense, and just like watching it go by in line, despite waiting a long time for it, was still very mesmerizing to watch. I think I prefer Ghost Rider slightly more, but if you were to tell me that Ghost Striker was your favorite wooden roller coaster in California or your favorite like GCI in California, whatever, I'd accept it. I also think it's cool how it just like wraps around the Star Tower, which I wish they kind of did with that with Max Force, because I feel like Max Force is so like short. And I've said this a lot, and I think probably maybe if they used a bit of extra space, like how Ghost Striker does here, I think it would have been better. Though that would come at the cost with the greenery around Skytrek Tower, so I could see why they didn't do it. Railblazer is the next one I want to talk about. So this is the newest coaster at California's Great America, opening in 2018. And I've only done one under single rail, and that is its sister, Wonder Woman at Fiesta, Texas. Um, this one was less rough than Wonder Woman, because I remember Wonder Woman being so rough that I think it just kind of was a bit unbearable. While Railblazer was, while a bit rough, it was a little bit more smoother and not as like janky. I'd say this is probably objectively the best roller coaster California's Great America. I don't know. It's between that and Gold Striker, but not my personal favorite. And the line waiting for it, oh my goodness, it was the longest one we had to wait. I waited almost 2 hours to ride it. At least it was somewhat worth it, but I wish I didn't have to wait 2 hours for it. Next up on my list is Demon. Demon is the only roller coaster that both our park and California's Great America still share. And surprisingly, the corkscrew is actually much more smoother at California than here. However, that drop just kind of sucks. I know they reprofiled the drop sometime around the mid to late 90s, and boy, like I was so underwhelmed. Like I was going in like expecting almost the same. Well, like I knew that the drop was reprofiled before going in, but I was just like acting almost the same way I was doing when I was like when I ride Demon here. But when I felt that there was no airtime on the drop, I was like, whoa, like that. So it was just like mood killer. Also, I think it's just a me thing, but I feel like the loops on Demon at California's Great America look much more taller than the ones here. Though to be fair, I haven't been to Great America here in about a few weeks, so that might change once I go soon. Also, the rock work looks much more better at California's, and I also like how it doesn't really slow down on the brake run compared to our version here. Also, one more thing, I love how there's sound effects when you're dipping into the tunnel before the lift hill. You have like a demonic laugh and a church bell going off before going up the lift hill. And the original trains are pretty cool looking, though I do prefer our Aero trains here. Next up is Patriot, and I'll be real with you guys, Patriot was the most forgettable coaster over there. It wasn't like the worst, but it was so forgettable that when I was writing the script for this video, I had to actually like think about what was the last coaster I was missing, because I was counting 6 and I was just like, oh wait, but what was the last one? And then I like had to think about it so much, and then it got to a point where I was just like, I had to just search it up, and then I saw it was Patriot. That's already bad enough when I can't even remember the name. But now think about the ride experience, it was fine. It was kind of weird just seeing the backstage there. I think it's more visible than the one in Gurney, but it was basically just a floorless, nothing too much. Like I felt like Scream at Magic Mountain had a little bit more going on than Patriot, and I think that was probably kind of unpleasant too. I don't think so the floors coaster is really my thing, and that's why I feel Patriot was just kind of very forgettable. Next up is Grizzly, the park's wooden roller coaster and basically their American Eagle. That thing was kind of bad. Like it wasn't the worst thing. I've heard people call it like a dumpster fire of a coaster, but for me personally, it was just like it went around in its drops, you know. It kind of felt like a rough family coaster, if that's the best way to say it. Really, the thrill just came from it's tall, and that's it. And those Morgan trains were not super comfortable. But I think it just came down to like the fact that the layout sucks and not the trains themselves were like terrible. Like I feel like on a good wooden coaster, like maybe the Texas Cyclone at Six Flags Astroworld, these Morgan trains would probably be like a little bit more bearable. But for like a layout like Grizzly, it was just not very pleasant to ride. But it's not the worst thing out there. I think I expected way worse, especially after watching other people comment about Grizzly. And then last but not least is Flight Deck. Now, personally, I think Flight Deck was my favorite ride at CGA. Like, yeah, sure, Railblazer and Gold Striker, like I've said before, they're kind of both objectively the best rides there. Like, they're both the standouts. But for me, if I were to choose a ride that I could ride like so many times at California's Great America, it would be Flight Deck, formerly known as Top Gun. There is so much I could describe about this ride. I think the ride layout or the way that it's all done is personally better than Batman. I don't know what it is. I think I just like I think the whippiness of Batman is not really for me. Not saying that it's super bad, it's just not my thing. I think I prefer like how Flight Deck is done. I mean it's only my second invert, so maybe that's why I prefer it. Um I just really like how all the elements I guess are a little bit more spaced out for me. And that finale, man, that finale is so cool. On the day I went, the water was kind of a little dirty, or like it was like a lot of moss on top of it. But like looking at it through videos on YouTube, like on a regular clear day or when the water is like more clean, that is so cool, and I love that so much. The theming is not it though. Maybe it was probably a little bit better when it was still Top Gun. Which, by the way, I actually watched both Top Gun movies before going to CGA, and I spotted a Top Gun logo still on one of the places in the queue. But um, but I think Batman does better in theming, while Top Gun is better as like an actual like ride. Outside the roller coasters, I didn't really do too much flat ride wise because it was a very crowded day. I think the only flat ride I did outside the roller coasters was the Roaring Rapids ride, which, yes, it's called Rapids. I don't know why it's just called Rapids. Besides that, most of the day just was kind of spent around walking around the park and trying food. And just in general, just looking at all the differences between California's Great America and my home park, Six Flags Great America, a park that I kind of know inside and out. Overall, I think California's Great America kind of has fallen off compared to Six Flags Great America. Like, I feel like some parts are like done a little bit better. Like I think Hometown Square is kind of nice at California's Great America. Like I like how all the trees there are still grown up. I think those are the original trees from the Marriott era, compared to Six Flags Great America that they took down some of their trees. I think was it like 2013, I think, for some dumb light show. I like that. The brick path is also pretty nice, but it's just a shame not to have the trolley tracks there, or the trolleys in general, you know, for parades and all that stuff compared to here. I also noticed that Hometown Square actually shares some songs with our Hometown Square here. Not as much. I think the library over there at California's Great America is kind of more repetitive, because I think the thing loops every 30 minutes maybe, or an hour, while here I think it's like every 2 hours. Staying on the topic of theme music, definitely our park wins in this category, because CGA, despite having theme music both Hometown Square, the Carousel Plaza, and the front gates, really just doesn't have any theme music anywhere else. Most of it is all just pop music, and that's not compared to here where everything is theme music. Like I felt like the front gate music, while good, just sounds a little bit more sad compared to over here where it's all more upbeat, patriotic, and all that stuff. So that was a weird difference. I also got to try Maggie Brown's, which is basically their version of Strutters. I wanted to get the chicken because I know their regular hand drum chicken is what they're famous for, but they ran out of it. So I had to settle for their chicken sandwich, which is fine because I guess it's similar to the one here. And I'll be honest, I think their chicken sandwich tastes much more better, and it probably comes down to the fact that they actually add like coleslaw inside the chicken sandwich, while here is just pickles. I also think it's kind of cool that they have potato wedges compared to the regular fries here at Strutters. One thing I really liked about CGA is that next to the Gold Striker gifts, which is the equivalent to our Carousel Plaza gifts, is that there was a small museum dedicated to the carousel. I knew about it for a while, and it's really cool to be able to go in and read a bunch of facts about the carousel, and seeing the old hand card forces up close, see how they built it, and just also a bunch of other old Great America relics and artifacts. It was a really interesting thing, and I'd say this is probably a big reason you should come out to California's Great America, especially if your home park is Six Flags Great America. Despite the small nitpicks I've made about the park, I still think it's a pretty nice park, and it's probably better than Discovery Kingdom despite the fact never going. I don't know, just there's nothing really to draw me to Discovery Kingdom. I feel like if you're like a hardcore roller coaster person, then yeah, go to Discovery Kingdom. But if you want something that's like more a mix of everything, like a theme park atmosphere, or you kind of want something similar to I guess Six Flags Great America here, then yeah, go to CGA. I still think it's kind of worth it despite its shortcomings. And that's it. That's my first review on a theme park on my channel. I think it's pretty fitting that my first review for a theme park is a theme park that is a sister to my theme park. Wow, that's a lot of using the words for theme park. If you guys really enjoyed it, I could probably make more reviews because I've actually gone to a few more theme parks outside of Chicago. Maybe I'll do more reviews, especially during the winter months when Six Flags Great America is closed, so then I could like have at least some content to put out. But thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you liked this review. I'll try to make more Six Flags Great America content if I can. I do need a lot of support from people, as like I feel like my comments are like few and far between, and well, I do have a lot of other contemporaries who have like basically bigger audiences than me, so I try my best to provide the best I can despite my shortcomings. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys real soon. Peace out.